Not exactly a tropical paradise.
Definitely not your typical vacation spot.
We're talking scorching skies, crimson deserts, the homeworld of the Blood Angels Bowl.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how such a brutal, unforgiving environment could give rise to a pressure known for their nobility, their artistry.
It's a real head-scratcher. You'd think a place like that would breed nothing but, savagery.
Right, but the Blood Angels are anything but, and that's what makes them so intriguing.
Exactly. And to get to the bottom of this, we've got some amazing source material for this deep dive, all originally in Spanish, by the way.
Ah, yes, the Spanish sources. Always a treat.
We've got Baal, Mundo Natal de los Ángeles Sangrientos, which really sets the scene.
It's a great primer on Baal itself.
Then there's Ángeles Sangrientos, La Hora Final de Tico, which, well, let's just say it gives you a chilling look at what can happen to these warriors.
It's a powerful account.
And finally, we're diving into their genetic, let's call them quirks, with Ángeles Sangrientos, La Imperfección Sed Roja y Rabia Negra.
That's the one that really gets into the nitty-gritty of their, shall we say, unique challenges?
So we'll be exploring Baal's past, which is shrouded in mystery, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot we still don't know about what happened to that planet.
We'll be looking at the Blood Angels' genetic legacy, the good, the bad, and the downright terrifying.
Their gene seed, well, it's a double-edged sword, to put it wildly.
And we'll even get a glimpse into the mind of a Blood Angel on the brink of madness.
Always a fun time.
Okay, so first things first. Baal itself. Our sources paint a picture of a desolate wasteland, like seriously desolate.
Think red oxide deserts stretching as far as the eye can see.
And the only landmarks are the ruins of some ancient civilization.
It's a testament to the Blood Angels' resilience that they not only survived on this planet, but managed to build such a powerful chapter.
Yeah, it's not exactly a fertile ground for, well, anything really.
And yet, there are hints of a potentially idyllic past. Mentions of sophisticated architecture, advanced technology.
Like maybe Baal wasn't always a wasteland.
Exactly. And then there are the moons, Baal Primus and Secundus.
Right, the moons. I almost forgot about those.
They too show signs of a lush, vibrant past. So the question is, what happened? What turned this potential paradise into a desolate wasteland?
Yeah, good question.
Well, the sources point to a cataclysm at the end of the dark age of technology. We're talking layers of radiation, mutated survivors.
Mutants, like actual mutants running around.
Oh, yes, and not the friendly kind. And then there are these chilling cave paintings on Baal Primus, the Cuevas de Lascaux, they're called.
Cave paintings? What kind of cave paintings?
They depict, well, let's just say they depict scenes of cannibalistic mutants. Not exactly the kind of artwork you'd hang in your living room.
Yikes, that's disturbing. It paints a pretty bleak picture of what happened on Baal.
It does. It suggests a complete societal collapse, a descent into utter chaos.
And from those ashes, a new kind of society rose, right? A brutal tribal one.
Precisely. The survivors were forced to adapt, to become scavengers and warriors just to survive. And this constant struggle for survival, this need to fight for every scrap, it became ingrained in their culture. It's in their blood, literally.
And that's where Sanguinius comes in, right? The Blood Angels Primarch?
Yes, Sanguinius, the legendary angel who rose from these very tribes, united the warring factions of Baal, and ultimately became their leader.
It's kind of poetic, isn't it? How this figure of light emerged from such darkness.
It speaks volumes about the duality of the Blood Angels. They are creatures of both light and shadow, capable of great beauty and terrible violence.
And it's on Baal, amidst this harsh landscape, that the Blood Angels' fortress monastery stands, the Torre de Amoreo.
A testament to their strength and resilience. A symbol of order in a world defined by chaos.
I'm trying to picture it, this imposing structure rising from the red dust, surrounded by these... Wait, the sources mentioned statues, right?
Ah, yes, the statues. They're quite impressive. Massive figures of ancient heroes, each wielding a pair of weapons, one pointed towards the sky, the other towards the ground, standing eternally vigilant.
Like they're guarding the Blood Angels, even in their stillness.
Exactly. It's as if they're a reminder of the chapter's past, of the sacrifices that were made to forge them into the warriors they are today.
It's fascinating how these remnants of a lost civilization continue to watch over Blood Angels, who are themselves haunted by their own past, their own unique legacy.
A legacy that is both a blessing and a curse.
And speaking of curses, I think it's time we talk about the genetic gifts and, well, let's be honest, the genetic nightmares of the Blood Angels.
Ah, yes. The flaw, the red thirst, and the black rage. The trifecta of genetic doom.
This is where things get really interesting and a bit terrifying. But we'll save that for after the break.
The Blood Angels' genetic legacy. It's a fascinating and terrifying topic.
Yeah, we left off talking about some pretty heavy stuff. The flaw, the red thirst, and the black rage. A trifecta of, well, genetic nightmares.
That's one way to put it. But before we get into those specifics, let's talk about what happens to those who succumb to the black rage. It's not a pretty picture.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Do they just, I don't know, lock them up somewhere?
Not exactly. They have a, shall we say, unique solution for that. The Death Company.
Death Company sounds ominous.
It is. It's essentially a brotherhood comprised of those who have been fully consumed by the rage, those who can no longer control their urges.
So instead of trying to cure them or restrain them, they just send them off to die.
In a way, yes. They're adorned in black armor, marked with red, symbolic of Sanguinius's wounds, and then sent into the most dangerous battles.
So it's a glorious death in battle then. A warrior's dream, maybe. But still kind of sad.
It's a way for them to find purpose, a final act of service to the Emperor amidst the chaos of their madness.
I guess that makes sense, in a grim sort of way. But you know what? It's important to distinguish between the red thirst and the black rage. Those are two different things, right?
Absolutely. While both are terrifying, they have different triggers and manifest in distinct ways.
So remind me, the red thirst is like that primal bloodlust, right? It can be triggered by things like the heat of battle or just the sight of blood.
Exactly. It's visceral, almost animalistic.
But the black rage is different.
Yes, the black rage is more of a psychic phenomenon, a deeply rooted trauma that can be triggered by stress, memories, even seemingly random events. It's like a psychological time bomb waiting to go off.
And once it goes off, there's no turning back. Is that right?
It's extremely rare for a blood angel to recover from the black rage.
Except there was that one blood angel, right? Didn't he actually overcome it? Mephiston.
Mephiston, the Lord of Death. Yes, he's a unique case. The only known blood angel to master the black rage, to turn its power into a weapon against the Imperium's enemies.
So he like harnessed it, controlled it.
In a way, yes. But how he achieved this is shrouded in mystery. He remains an anomaly, a solitary figure who accomplished what no other blood angel has.
It's kind of hopeful, right? Like, if he could overcome the black rage, maybe there's a chance for others.
Perhaps. But for now, Mephiston is an exception, not the rule.
Okay, well, let's circle back to the red thirst for a second. The sources mention a potential link to that demon, Kabanda. Can you explain that?
Ah, yes, Kabanda, a demon prince of Khorne, the chaos god of blood. Sanguinius fought him during the Horus heresy.
Khorne, that's the one who's all about violence and bloodshed, right?
Precisely. And some believe that this fight, this clash with Kabanda, left a mark on Sanguinius's soul.
A psychic scar.
You could say that. A scar that was then passed down to his sons, manifesting as the red thirst.
So not only are they dealing with their own genetic flaws, but they might also be carrying around the influence of a chaos demon. Talk about adding insult to injury.
It's a heavy burden to bear, to know that you are constantly fighting not only your own inner demons, but also the lingering influence of chaos.
It almost makes their struggle seem hopeless, doesn't it?
It's certainly a difficult path they walk, a path fraught with danger and temptation. But the Blood Angels are nothing if not resilient. They fight on despite the odds, driven by their unwavering loyalty to the Emperor.
It's like they're caught between heaven and hell, both in their nature and their destiny, striving for purity and righteousness, but constantly battling the darkness within.
The very name Blood Angels hints at this internal conflict. They are angels, yes, but they're also creatures of blood, of violence.
And this duality, this struggle, it's reflected in their culture, isn't it? I mean, they're known for their art, their love of beauty and refinement.
Indeed, it's almost as if they are trying to counterbalance the ugliness of their curse, to create something beautiful in a world filled with horror.
It's like they're yearning for something more than just endless battle, reaching for a connection to something higher, something purer.
It speaks to the complexity of their nature, their desire to transcend the darkness that threatens to consume them.
Which makes their tragedy all the more profound. To be gifted with such potential, such talent, yet to be constantly haunted by the specter of madness.
It's a cruel twist of fate indeed.
So if the Death Company is where the Blood Angels who succumb to the Black Rage end up, where do those struggling with the Red Thirst go? Is there, I don't know, a Bloodlust Company?
Not quite. The Red Thirst, while a significant challenge, is something the Blood Angels are generally able to manage. They have rituals, mental disciplines, and a strict code of conduct designed to keep it in check.
So it's like a constant battle for control.
Precisely. A fight against their baser instincts, and it's a fight they wage every single day.
That's got to be exhausting. I mean, imagine living with that kind of constant pressure, that fear of losing control.
It's a heavy burden to bear, but it is the burden of every Blood Angel. It is the price they pay for their power, for their lineage.
And for some, that burden becomes too heavy. That's when they join the Death Company, right?
Yes. For those who succumb to the Black Rage, the Death Company offers a form of release, a way to find purpose in their madness, to die a warrior's death in service to the Emperor.
It's a bleak outlook, but I guess it's better than it's being locked away, or worse, becoming a danger to your own brothers.
The Death Company is a controversial aspect of the Blood Angels chapter. Some see it as a necessary evil, a way to harness the power of the Black Rage and use it against their enemies. Others view it as a tragic waste, a reminder of the terrible curse that afflicts them.
I can see both sides. On one hand, it's a way to give these warriors a purpose, a chance to die with honor. But on the other hand, it's basically a suicide mission. They're sending them off to die knowing they can't be saved.
It's a difficult dilemma, and it's one that the Blood Angels have grappled with for millennia.
I guess there are no easy answers when it comes to the Black Rage.
Indeed. It is a curse that has haunted the Blood Angels since their inception, and it is a curse that continues to shape their destiny.
So to sum it up, we've got a chapter of superhuman warriors descended from a ravaged planet, burdened with a genetic curse that manifests in bloodlust and psychic echoes of their Primarch's death, and a lingering possibility of demonic influence. Well, it's a lot to process.
And we've only scratched the surface.
Yeah, I was going to say this has been heavy, but fascinating too. The Blood Angels are a truly complex and tragic chapter.
They are. And their story is one of both incredible heroism and utter despair.
A reminder that even in the grimdark future of Warhammer 40K, questions of faith, duty, and free will are still relevant.
And that these questions don't always have easy answers.
Absolutely. But hey, isn't that what makes this stuff so interesting? The fact that it makes you think, makes you question.
Indeed. The Blood Angels, with all their flaws and their struggles, offer a glimpse into the very nature of humanity.
I like that. A glimpse into the nature of humanity. Okay, well, on that note, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back to wrap up our deep dive into the Blood Angels.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, what the Blood Angels could achieve if they were free of this curse.
Oh, totally. Imagine if they could channel all that energy, all that passion into their art.
The masterpieces they could create, the symphonies they could compose.
Right, instead of being constantly dragged down by this darkness.
But that's the tragedy of the Blood Angels, isn't it? This constant tension between their potential and their fate.
Yeah, it's like they're destined to be consumed by it.
And yet, they resist. They fight, knowing the risks, knowing the price they might have to pay.
I don't know, it's kind of inspiring in a way.
It is. It speaks to their unwavering loyalty, their dedication to the Emperor and his ideals.
They're true warriors, even with all that weighing on them.
Which brings us back to the Death Company, this brotherhood of, well, let's face it, the damned.
Yeah, it's a lot to wrap your head around, how they can still find a way to serve, even after succumbing to the Black Rage.
It's a testament to the Blood Angels' complex relationship with death. They don't fear it, they embrace it.
Embrace it.
For a Blood Angel consumed by the Black Rage, death in battle is a form of release. Atonement, even.
So it's more than just practicality, then. It's spiritual.
Oh, absolutely. The Death Company is steeped in ritual, ceremonies, sacred relics.
It's like a beautiful kind of brutality, if that makes sense.
I think it does. It speaks to the Blood Angels' compassion, their refusal to abandon even those who have fallen to the curse.
It reminds us that even in this grim darkness of Warhammer 40K, there's still room for empathy.
Indeed. The Blood Angels may be warriors, but they are also brothers, bound by ties that even the Black Rage can't fully sever.
You know, as we wrap up this deep dive, I can't help but think about that question you posed earlier. What would I do if I were a Blood Angel, knowing what I know now?
It's a question that stays with you, doesn't it?
It does. Would I embrace the fury, seek a glorious end, or would I cling to my sanity, even knowing the fight might be impossible?
It's a choice no one should have to make. But it's a choice that the Blood Angels and those around them face every single day.
And that's what makes their story so compelling, so tragic, so human.
Even in the realm of science fiction, we can find these profound reflections of ourselves, of our own struggles.
The Blood Angels may be fictional, but their story resonates with something deep within us.
A reminder that we are all capable of both darkness and light.
And that the battles we choose to fight ultimately define who we are.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the Blood Angels.
We hope you found it, well, maybe not enjoyable, but at least thought-provoking.
Remember, even in the face of madness, there's always hope.
And there's always the chance to make a difference. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.